In double overtime, the Thunder went down to the Spurs as they now lead the series 1-0. And Chet Holmgren was a little bit of a no-show, only 8 points. He was -7 on the floor. In fact, Holmgren only took one field goal attempt with Wemby as his primary defender. A made three late in the second quarter. Remember, this was the second overall pick for Oklahoma City. And so, Stephen A., what did you make of Holmgren's performance last night?
You know, San Antonio, as I said, is here. And so I wanted to make a left turn with this show because I have the ability to do that from time to time. Mm-hmm. And with Will Bond here in our New York studios with you, Shai, and Cameron, I wanted to give the basketball world something to think about that should, for its consideration. In the event that Oklahoma City gets knocked off in this postseason, primarily because Chet Holmgren, who's due a huge raise, he's at $13 million now, new salary kicks in at $41 million next season. Something to consider. We've been talking a lot about New York, a lot about Miami, in terms of Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Oh, I knew that was coming.
How about this, Will Bond? I did say earlier in the show that Oklahoma City has at least 13 first-round picks between now and 2032, and at least 16 second-round picks. How about if I sat up there and I told you that you Oklahoma City and you're willing to let go of Chet Holmgren and one of those young dudes, not Jalen Williams, not J-Dub, all right? Whether it's A.J. Mitchell, whether it's Casey Wallace, whether it's Isaiah Joe, or whomever, you understand? If anybody can afford to let go of two players that are in the rotation, it is Oklahoma City, along with 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks for Giannis Antetokounmpo. What would you say to that? Giannis in Oklahoma City with a Hartenstein, okay, with a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, with a J-Dub, potentially with an A.J. Mitchell, potentially with the Casey Wallace. You only talk about 2 players, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks for Giannis Antetokounmpo. What would y'all say to that?
I would, Stephen A., I hang around New Yorkers, you and Tony, too much. Because yesterday I said to him during the break on PTI, I said, if you lose in your OKC, do you need to take a big swing? And he was like, yes, 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 Giannis. And so you two are on the same page. What a shock. Yes, Stephen A., Giannis needs a reset, all right? Because right now he's become a rumor. He hasn't been available for any playoffs in a long time.
Totally
he
true.
needs to be. That would be a great place for him, it seems to me. There'd be some pressure still, but less of it playing with SGA and the lineup you said. Yes, I would do that deal if I'm both parties.
Cameron?
Oh, man, that's tough. Giving up 7 years.
Yeah.
When you think about
it is.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, you're giving up 7 years. Giannis 31, Chet 24. But if you're in a win now situation, I love what you just said. Giannis is a rumor. Yeah. But I don't think Giannis wants to go to a small market. He's always, I want to be in a big market, Do you want
to win?
I was just about to say that. What's more important, the market that you want to be in, or do you want to win? Do you want to go shopping on 34th Street in Times Square and so on and so forth?
It's not so much about a win-now situation. Right. Of course that is, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if San Antonio beats you and Chet Holmgren gets thoroughly outplayed while that's happening,
You're going to invest
if I want to compete with San Antonio in the future, do I not have to upgrade?
No, I agree with you, but you
That's where I'm coming
got to
from.
make sure that Giannis wants to stay there because you don't want to get him for the year and then he doesn't stay there. And then it's a 1-year rental.
I got you, but I'm just talking about, I'm not even considering any of that. I'm just talking strictly
Can you have Giannis for a good 3 or 4 years run with SGA? Stephen A., I love that. I love that possibility. The framework might have to change a little bit, but the particulars, but the framework would be there.
And remember, Giannis in the open court. Remember, he's good for 30 and 11 a night. Remember that he's somebody you have to contend with on a defensive side of the ball, which might compromise you offensively to some degree. And he's a legit 6'11". Let's not forget that.
True.
I don't know that you would need to give up Chet Holmgren and a player and 2 first-round picks and 2 second. Like, wouldn't Chet plus 2 ones and 2 twos
But Shay, I'm saying don't fret over that.
Right.
Because they got 13
They have
picks
all the assets.
in the first round and 16 in the second round.
Right.
They can afford it.
Like it.
True. I like it too. All right, coming up, Knicks, Cavs, a trip to the finals on the line. Stephen A will tell you what the biggest question should be as we head into tonight's Game 1 at MSG. That's next.
Hey, Danhausen found some Knicks fans, it looks like. That's pretty good. You guys going to the game tonight? Great, because you know Danhausen uncursed them, and now they've been on quite the streak, a winning streak, if you will. So, you know.
They have had 11 days off, which is just wild. Alec Newell had his second game-winning Game 7 goal this postseason, as he did it against Tampa in the first round. And the Spurs up 1-0 with their 122-115 double overtime victory at OKC, the first overtime loss for Oklahoma City in this postseason. In this season, excuse me. And Wemby with 41 and 24. SGA has won back-to-back MVPs. Wemby is just unbelievable right now. And it was the stark realization for this show for 2 things. 1, get used to this, and that's a good thing with these 2, San Antonio and Oklahoma City. And anyone who thinks anyone outside of SGA and Wemby are winning the MVP anytime soon, you may be mistaken. And not only may you be mistaken, you're mistaken to think that there's an immediate American-born MVP, because we haven't had one since 2018. CC, you gave your list of top 5 most likely potential American-born MVPs moving forward. The list again?
Okay, so we have Anthony Edwards, number 1, Tyrese Halliburton, number 2, Jason Tatum, number 3, Cade Cunningham, number 4, and Cooper Flagg, number 5.
What about Jaylen Brown?
Is Jaylen Brown going to stay with the Boston Celtics?
I understand why he wasn't on the list, because there's uncertainty about where he'll be
when
playing
you shake
basketball.
the 8 ball and you look at it, it says, come back and ask question later.
Yes, unsure.
Unsure.
But we have seen him be the best player on a championship team. So he's somebody that, and we talked about what he did this year in the absence of Jason Tatum. We talked about him being the MVP this year. I could just see, whether it's with the Celtics or another team, him putting up the numbers and having the narrative around him that he should add that to his trophy case.
Can I ask you a question? If he's the best player on a championship winning team, why is he the player that everybody brings up when it comes to Boston Celtics trade rumors and not Jason Tatum?
Because I think Jason Tatum is a better player overall.
Okay.
Tatum was leading in a lot of categories during that run.
He was.
Trust me. I remember.
Yeah.
But Jaylen Brown earned that.
He's conference finals MVP, finals MVP. He got that. He deserved that. He made a lot of big shots, played really good ball, played really good defense, too, during that stretch. I just don't know where Jaylen Brown is going to be.
Right.
And Jason Tatum coming back, it makes it feel like he's going to reassert himself, reestablish himself as the primary scoring option for the Boston Celtics. And it's hard to win MVP when you're not that for your team.
Here's why all of this, honestly, may be null and void. Wemby hasn't won it yet. You're going to have this entire postseason. He may win a championship, and then you're going to have next season where he's going to look at it and say, I've done squat because now I got to go win an MVP. This guy's a psychopath, and I mean that in the most loving way possible.
No, it's a compliment.
He has not done anything in terms of what he would view as accomplishment yet. So we can sit here and debate who's the next American-born MVP. It doesn't matter, because he ain't going anywhere for a while. And neither is SGA, the worst game of his playoff life last night. That's why I think this series is going 7, and why, if it's going to be a short series, which I don't think it is, you got to think about the fact that Oklahoma City was stinky last night, and they still needed to go to double overtime to beat them. Guys, it is more likely that Wemby wins the next 2 to 3 in a row than any of the American players win one. Let's be real about this. I understand you were very specific with your power rankings brought to us by SoFi to not give a year. That is the most important thing you did, was you did not give a year. Because at no point did you say, here are the top 5 Americans that I think could win the MVP next year. Because how many years before you think an American will win the MVP?
Oh.
Why would you think one of those guys is not going to win the MVP next year?
You might as well have handed Wemby the iPad last night, and he looked in the camera and said, and I took that personal. Because this guy is going to be
Last dance for the Thunder.
he is going to be a monster in the offseason.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how competitive he is at 22 years old. He watched SGA get the hardware last night, and he went out and had that performance. I just know that in the offseason, wherever he's working out, there's going to be some sort of bulletin board material just haunting him to push himself to get that award next year.
Can I ask y'all a question? Because I think when we bring it back to the series against the Thunder, playing 48 minutes